It's July 26th, 2024. I am Actual Pearl, and it's time to get in the weeds. It's a wonderful Friday morning. Hopefully, it's sunny where you are, because it certainly is here. Jeremy Lambert is here. We are the only international pro wrestling morning show that you should be listening to. How's that?
Guess we're technically international. You're in Canada.
I am. Although, if you ask the mayor of London, Canada doesn't count.
Fair, honestly. That sounds right.
Talk about that and a whole lot more. How you doing? Good morning.
Good morning. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well on this. I don't know if it's lovely out. The curtains are closed behind me. Hopefully it's halfway decent. We're going to the Great Lakes of Ohio today. Well, the Great Beaches of Ohio, like AEW a couple years ago. Beach break in Ohio.
January, the time to go.
Yeah.
Check out the beaches in Cleveland. Well, you'll be at SummerSlam next week on the Great Beaches of Cleveland.
Allegedly.
We'll see if you make it. Would be nice.
Don't put that out there.
People giving their weather reports. I appreciate that very much.
That's
what you want. I want everyone to be happy. And people are talking about an afternoon PLE. That's what I want. That's all I want. To be done work before 9 o'clock. I got to do that with, like I said, on Wednesday, the TNA TV show tapings that they did on the Sunday, done before 9 p.m. Eastern. That stuff rules. More of that, please.
Not going to happen tonight because ROH has a show that's going to last until about 11 and then a press conference that's going to last until about 1.
Well, good thing I don't cover Ring of Honor for the website. I leave that to the Kate Fabes and SP3s of the world. And, of course, yourself.
Yeah, super excited.
I'll be watching SmackDown.
Episode.
Oh, it is. Wow. I won't be watching any wrestling tonight because I know everything that's happening. Wonderful. Good times had by all. That is what it is. Listen, maybe you'll be watching later. I don't have to watch it live. That's really what it comes down to. Instead, you can leave a thumbs up on the video because we're live, pal. And you can also subscribe to the channel. Come on, give me the fireworks. Fireworks
don't want to work. Shout out Cole Radrick wearing my SpongeBob shirt.
Hell yeah. Love us some Cole Radrick.
The fireworks don't want to work.
Yeah, they are. We found them. Fireworks are back.
Sure.
They weren't as fireworks horrific, maybe.
It's going to be a long night.
I think you're right. Anyway, and of course, donate a super chat. Any amount, get your question or your statement read on the air. We talk to the chat throughout, but if you want to be nice and fun with us, go ahead, donate a super chat. Yes, we are being serious about the Ring of Honor thing. Show will end late at night. 3 a.m., baby.
I don't think it's going to last that long.
It'll go till 11 Eastern. The show itself, right?
Probably, unnecessarily. Let's be honest. If this show starts, I guess if it starts at 8, yeah, a 3 hour, 3 hours is fine. If it goes to 12, what are we doing? We don't need a 4-hour Ring of Honor show. We just don't.
I'm looking up the card only because this Ring of Honor's become the we announce everything online except for a couple of matches type of show. They got 10 matches on the card. 9 matches on the main. 1 is considered to be pre-show, and that's the MXM collection debut.
That should be on the main.
That should be. Actually, I agree with you. But then I also think about the fact that if they're trying to get people to buy the show, then you put a big act on there and it maybe influences them. I see both sides of it, and I kind of thought the same as you, put it on the main, but also let them debut here. Let them have a free taste, because people, otherwise they have to watch on their paywall on Watch ROH on, what's it called? Honor Club. There.
The show starts at 8. It does not need to be 4 hours. I don't remember how long the past ROH shows were. It feels like forever because the last one was WrestleMania weekend, and that's everything is 24 hours long in WrestleMania weekend. It doesn't need to be 4 hours. Ended at 11. Do the press conference. The media call yesterday was just a bunch of nothing. Bless Tony. No one asked questions about ROH. No one has anything to say about ROH. Tony barely has anything to say about ROH. The biggest news items were about the media rights, which talks are great. We're having great conversations, all things great. And then Tony, after Brandon Thurston asked the third media rights question of the call, being like, hold on one second, Jim. You know what I got to say? WWPR keeps putting their nose in my business, and I ain't liking that. The Tony Khan just went off on WWPR. That was the most noteworthy thing of that whole media call. If Tony doesn't do that, he said nothing for the entire hour of that media call. It's great. We have great wrestlers in ROH. All the stories are great. It's really great to be at Esports Stadium in Arlington with all the great wrestling fans. We're doing great things in ROH. We're also doing great things in AEW. I message people and I'm like, do you have any like questions I could potentially ask Tony? Because I thought I was working the media call. I was like, do you have any questions? And they're like trying to give me stuff. And I'm like, well, here's how he's going to reply to that. And I just typed the reply to them. And they're like, yeah, that's probably right. And what do you know? Rob Wilkins, who did end up on the media call, asked one of the questions. And he gave the exact reply I had written already. Like, if everything is great and you know what he's going to say is great, why are we doing these media calls?
Hold on, this is a more important question. Are you the AI generator for Tony Khan?
Yeah. I mean, that's where
You're
the
the script
Dynamite rundown bit started, is it was AI Tony Khan. Like, that's what it all started as. And then it just progressed from there. Like, we just, there was nothing of value on that media call until Tony decided to shoot on WWPR, which ruled. That was fantastic. If he doesn't do that, he said nothing on the media call. I don't know what he's going to say in the press conference tonight. They're going to have a great show with a lot of great matches. Collision tomorrow is going to be great. We're going to crown new 6-man champions on Battle of the Belts. Great. Just, that's it. That's all we're getting. Great.
Battle of the Borts, baby. That's all I really have to say about Battle of the Belts. Yeah, you know what he's gonna say? He's gonna say, hey, I'm really excited for Lee Moriarty. This is a huge opportunity for him as the new Pure Wrestling Rules champion. Wheeler Yuta's been a great. Oh, let's just say Lee's gonna win. I don't see I don't see why Yuta should keep that title. Put it like that. I don't see a reason for it. Other than that, Atlantis Jr. maybe drops the television title, but he just won it.
I think it's going to be a good show, by the way. As usual, the quality of the shows are never bad. All these guys are good wrestlers.
Yeah, the wrestlers
rarely have bad matches.
Yeah, the wrestlers show up and they do the wrestling, and that's fine. And like when we'll talk about Blood and Guts shortly, because you know a lot of different feelings coming out of that show. And you and I going into it, we had our gripes and our expectations, and also our feeling of how the match will be fun and the match will be good. And guess what? The match was fun. The match was good, but we'll get into the goods and the bads about it. It's the same with the Ring of Honor shows. And you know what? This was even before Tony was there. For the years before that, when they were kind of treading water, this was a Ring of Honor problem. Was that the stories weren't really there, but damn, the matches were there. There were some really solid matches going into the pandemic, and then out of the pandemic, there were some good ones. So here we are, Death Before Dishonor tonight, live from Arlington, Texas, at the Esports Arena.
It's going to be a great show. One of the best shows in ROH history.
How many new champions do you think they'll crown?
I don't even know what title matches are on here. I don't think Athena's losing.
Literally all the titles are on the line except for the 6-man. And like you said, that's Battle of the Borts.
I don't think Athena's losing. I feel like that would be the wrong call. No offense to Queen Amanada. It doesn't feel like the story for this has just been Athena faked an injury and then Queen Amanada called her out. All right. I don't think Billy's losing. Maybe the tag title switch, honestly, like Undisputed Kingdom, maybe lose to O'Reilly and Ishii. I could see that. I could see it. For
the summer excursion of Tomohiro Ishii, all 85 years old of him?
Yeah, like, what else are they doing with these belts? You know, it doesn't really matter.
That is a good point. That's the best part about our Ring of Honor is that it's just like it's the nothing belts, like it's the nothing matters promotion, and I mean that in the most. I mean that in the most loving way. It's just it hasn't been booked as like a you really have to see what we do with these title belts because Athena's the only title that's kind of mattered. Billy's had the title for what 100 days, I think, over 100 days at this point, and so that's like the second longest reign going on right now. Yuta is another one, but Yuta was also injured for a long time, so that's a whole other can of worms.
I'm not sure Yuta's losing. Honestly, you seem kind of sold on this.
They're not doing anything else with Lee Moriarty, and this is an opportunity for them to actually do something with Lee, who's been touted as, you know, a great hire and a great hand and so on and so forth. Whereas like Yuta can go and do AEW stuff and start finally breaking out and maybe challenging for something in AEW. I don't know what title it's going to be, but
I don't think that's the plan at all. And I think that's why Yuta is going to probably continue just to be the peer champion because he hasn't really had a run with it because of the injury. So I feel like they're going to now maybe give him an actual kind of run with it, whatever that run is. It means, you know, he wrestles on Rampage and ROH every 2 months or something. That's what we've seen of a run in ROH. I don't think the world title's changing. And I don't think Roddy's going to win, although I'd be fine with that. I just don't think it's going to happen.
Would you do because it's kind of a flip flop, right? You got Briscoe in the conglomeration. One's the world champion, and the other two are challenging for the tag titles. And then you've got the tag team champions, the Undisputed Kingdom, and Roderick Strong, who's challenging for the world title. Would you make it so that both teams kind of flip and that you have?
Well, then the Undisputed Kingdom are wrestling for the ROH 6-man tag titles on tomorrow night. They're going to face, let's be honest, Dustin and the Von Erichs. I don't feel like I'm spoiling too much there.
How dare you?
Sorry, Dark Order.
Dark Order could easily pull off the big victory. Big Evil Uno fan I am. Go check out my interview with him from a few months ago.
Well, Evil Uno's great, but like they ain't winning that match. So they're going to face. So Undisputed Kingdom might lose the tag titles, but win the 6-man titles. That I could see that happening.
Is that failing up or down?
It's sideways. No one.
It's a lateral.
Yeah, no one fails up in ROH. People can fail down, but it's a lateral move.
Like A-Shock in the chat asking why are the ROH 6-man titles still a thing? And Barkov also asking like weren't they merged with the AEW trios titles? Yeah, they all were, and this is why it's so weird.
So they merged them. They merged them when they did Bang Bang Gang against the Acclaimed to do the Undisputed Trios champions. Bang Bang Gang won that. But then they got stripped of the titles because Jay White was injured. But by stripping them they just stripped all the titles and they unmerged them. That's what happened. I'm not making this up, everybody.
You're really not. That's the best part.
This is what happened on the show. And you didn't know this happened unless you like watched ROH last night because they were like, oh, by the way, ROH 6-man tag team title match for the vacant titles at Battle of the Belts. And you're like, huh? I thought they just got rid of those and unified them with the trio. Nope, they're ununified. They are ununified. Victor is saying ROH has a board of directors. Now, here's something for you, Victor. They've had an ROH board of directors.
That is accurate. They have had one. They just added
Hathaway has been like an authority figure. Christopher Daniels has been an authority figure. Now Paul White is an authority figure. This is not something new that they're doing. Not something new. They're trying to make it seem like it's kind of new because nobody watched a year ago, but it's not new.
Do you think he's also Big Show?
The cat wants out.
Oh, the cat wants out. I mean, I feel like maybe Paul White's also going to be given the AEW figurehead role because they sure as shit don't want to keep it on Chris Daniels after Wednesday. That beatdown was another thing where I'm like, okay. Why did they beat down Christopher Daniels before?
They should have beat down Christopher Daniels.
Oh, yeah. Our pal Chris, Music and Mood Salt saying, welcome to ROH where everything is made up and the belts don't matter. Oh, God. Whose ring is it anyway?
They should have beat down Christopher Daniels because it was stupid. It was him being an authority figure was dumb. It didn't do anything worthwhile except he stripped the Bang Bang Gang of the tag team or the trios titles and was like, I don't like this decision. You didn't have to do it, you dummy. Stupid.
ROH is when you let the CPU book your universe mode.
Stupid.
It's amazing. Death Before Dishonor is tonight. Go watch it if you want.
The Brandon Cutler stuff sucks, by the way.
I mean, he just shows up and gets beat down. That's kind of what he does, right?
It's not good. Like, Cutler is like a fine stooge, I guess. His like over the topness stuff is just, it's off-putting to me. Just me personally. Like, he's good at it. I don't want to say he's bad at it. He's good at it. And maybe it's because I thought the angle should have been more serious, and it's not. And maybe if I look at it as like, this was a fun little comedy angle that they did taking out Tony Khan, I could find some humor in it. But that should have been such a more serious tone, the whole thing. And they played it more for comedy, and that's unfortunate. But it's over now. It doesn't matter. They did Blood and Guts. We're done.
Oh, this was the first thing that I loved. So I'm sorry. We are going to talk about the funny stuff and the good stuff from AEW Blood and Guts from Dynamite. But yes, they open up the show and it's Will Ospreay discovering that his car had the tires slashed. And it's because Alex Marvez is there trying to interview him in like the Talent Hotel bowels of the parking lot. So he discovers that the car has been, the tires are slashed. And then Will Ospreay says to Marvez, like, where's your car? Where's your car? And he shows it is over there. First of all, no way that they gave Marvez an Escalade. Just saying, not happening. And so he goes over to the car. Marvez takes the suitcase and throws it and gets in on the other side. The cameraman should have gotten in the back seat too, but that's semantics. They get in the car and they start to drive away. And Marvez says, have you ever driven in America? And Will does, nope. And he speeds away and Marvez is like, oh! The reaction itself made the show so much better. I need to clip it. He didn't like it.
Fine.
You didn't listen to it? Just be like, what the hell was that?
No. No, I was just like, oh, sure.
It was his inside voice. Sorry. It's so stupid. You have to laugh sometimes.
I mean, it was. That was a way to kick off the show. Will Ospreay getting his tires slashed. Sure.
Well, that's normally how I want to start a show when you and I work together. I want to slash your tires and say, let's get to work.
That doesn't sound nice.
Well, it doesn't, but neither was what happened with Ospreay. Slashed his tires, and that was it. Ah, God dang it, that was fun. It's a me, Alex. Sorry, I'm done. The American Championship is unveiled. This what do you think of this segment with Max coming out? We're not doing a full-on review. I want to touch on this and on the two women's stories that have evolved, and of course we'll talk about Blood and Guts itself.
I like the championship unveiling. Thought that was cool. Thought that it was a nice looking title, honestly. Like, it's the most American title you could put together.
You know what it reminded me of in certain ways? It reminded me of the NWA, the cross between their national title and their US tag titles. And I was like, God, that's ugly. Why Syllable saying belt was awful, and I loved it. Good Lord.
It was perfect. And then the flag with his face as all the states. I thought that was a nice sight. The segment was good. The MJF promo, I can leave these behind. I don't need dead grandmother references and all this stuff. Like, Christian does it. Nick Wayne did it on Wednesday as well, talking about Kip's dead father. Did he think Kip was Brian Pillman Jr. or something? Like, what?
I had to go back in the tweets because I was like, Kip lost his dad? Was this recent? Because like I didn't see anything about how recently that was.
I don't know. I mean, Kip, it's not like Kip's been on television. He was just lurking in the background for like a week, and then he was on TV. That was it. So it's not like we know if he lost his father or anything, unless you are keeping up online. But I don't need just dead people references all the time. Again, Christian does it. It's cute. We don't need multiple people doing this stuff. I don't think it adds to anything. Oh, but he said it to Christian a couple weeks ago on TV.
Good. Okay. If they tie it together, like I'm fine with that when you make it a little bit of a, a bit of a tying thing. But because it's Collision, the tie-ins aren't always connected. Okay, I see it. I see it. I'm glad. I'll give them that. I think it's good that they bring that up. I was curious because, like I said, I went back in Kip Sabian's Twitter feed and I was like, did he ever make reference to this? Because like I just lost my dad and that was fairly recent. I was like, when was this? Did I miss it or what's going on? So good. I'm glad that people have tied that together. Thank you.
Didn't need it from MJF regardless.
No, and I agree. So instead, you've got this new title belt, and you've got the rematch announced for All In, and Bruv versus MJF is happening.
Poor Daniel Garcia.
Where is Daniel Garcia? A lot of people have asked the question. Nobody knows what's going on, where he is. Storyline, obviously, he was taken out by MJF, laid up in hospital, so on and so forth. Do you have this match with MJF and Daniel Garcia as an all-out match 2 weeks after All In? Is it for a title or is it a grudge match? Maybe the winner becomes the number one contender for the international, American, whatever you're going to call it, title by the time All In is over. Or does it not happen at all? What happens with Daniel Garcia, who's waiting in the wings?
He should come back and he should get himself in this match, honestly.
You want to make it a three-way?
I don't want to, but I think that's what Daniel Garcia should do.
This is the, again, talking about the way matches get made or built in AEW lately has been a lot of really good stories wrapped up with multiple people, but are about two people. And that's kind of what we're seeing here. And the stories between Garcia and MJF, and then MJF and Ospreay, are two very different stories. One's about who's the better wrestler. The other one is just about giving the guy a chance, but then being a total dickhead and, shoving him out of his place. At the end of the day, like, who's the better wrestler is the crux of the story, but they're told differently. Same thing's happening in the main event scene. Now, when we talk about Blood and Guts, I think a lot of the shift of the focus of who should be in the All In main event has just changed, because Hangman and Swerve renewed their rivalry face to face at Blood and Guts. And then you've got Danielson doing backstage segments with Renee, which, if you watch the segment, it's good. You watch the interview, it's good, but he's not being the focus. And I know some people are going to say, oh, well, All In is a month away, blah, blah, blah. But you do still have to spend time building these stories. And you've made certain turns that have made certain fans feel like, why isn't this a triple threat? Or why is it this match, not this match? Is it a detriment to what you're about to present?
Folks, let me apologize. I wished for Bryan Danielson to win the Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament.
You ruined it.
I wished for Bryan Danielson to win the AEW World title at AEW All In. Had I known that Hangman Page, they would have put him in this position to be a heel in the Owen, to face Danielson, to continue things with Swerve, to be part of the Blood and Guts team like this. Had I known that Bryan Danielson was going to be in this spot over the Hangman Page and Swerve Strickland feud, which I have praised plenty of times. I've said millions of times on this show, Hangman Page should be the guy in AEW. Should have been the babyface guy, can now be the heel guy, regardless. Main character Hangman Page. Said it plenty of times. Had I known that my wish for Bryan Danielson was going to overshadow, or not even overshadow, because he's kind of getting overshadowed right now. Had I known that he would have taken this spot from Hangman Page at AEW All In, I still would have said it, because Bryan Danielson should be the fucking champion of this company. Okay? But they're kind of making a mistake. Hangman and Swerve feels like it should be the All In match. Feels like it should be All In. But Bryan Danielson should win the title.
It's so messed up because I always keep in the back of my head your sentiment about All In. It is the biggest show of the year by virtue of the amount of people, the amount of butts and seats live. And you see that, right? 41,000 plus tickets sold. More will be sold as the card continues to shape up. And yeah, this should be the match. But we're doing Danielson and Swerve. There's opportunities to get it hot before the match itself. But man, Hangman and Swerve after this past Wednesday, they make you really want it. They make you really want that match. Will it happen? Absolutely. Can it happen at All In? Not unless they change it and Danielson drops a match to Hangman along the way where his shot's on the line. And I don't think AEW's done that before. They haven't done a your shot on the line match, have they? It's been 5 years of this.
Maybe. I can't recall off the top of my head.
If someone in the chat remembers that, and I'm talking like a match where if you lose and you already had a title shot, that person's going to get the title shot instead. I can't think of a time where they've done that. Other companies have, but it would be an opportunity for AEW to do that. Someone's saying Cody. I don't know if Cody's done that, but if someone gives me a match where that actually happened, then fantastic. So you could do it. Okay, you can do it, but you could do it at All Out.
So here's kind of what I pitched on Spotlight yesterday.
Go ahead.
Danielson and Swerve at All In. They said it. We're just going to go with it. Danielson wins, as he should. I don't want to spoil things. I don't know what they do at All Out, honestly. I don't know if Danielson's going to wrestle at All Out. I'm not sure where they're going. I would not do Hangman and Swerve at All Out, though. I wouldn't. Where All Out goes, again, not sure.
No spoilers in the chat, please, by the way.
Danielson is going to face the winner of the Royal Rampage at Grand Slam. Danielson wins that match. Danielson and Hangman at Wrestle Dream. That's in Washington, Danielson's home state. Hangman wins that match. Hangman has the title, and now Swerve is going after him. I would still hold off. And Swerve is, being like, you've never beaten me. Okay, you're the champion now, but you've still never beaten me. Hangman can say, I beat Danielson. You've never beaten Danielson. Like, that's how you play that. You get to Hangman Swerve. Win? Where? I don't know if you can hold off at Full Gear. Is probably where you do it. That's 1 year after Texas Death Match as well. So I could see that happening. That's what I would do. I would not do Hangman and Swerve at All Out and in just a singles match with no title on the line.
You can't do a singles match with Swerve and Hangman anymore. The toothpaste is out of the tube.
Yeah, it would have to be a gimmick, a stipulation match, 100%. Yeah. But I'm just saying I wouldn't do it.
Ham on each other. You wouldn't do the match at all, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it at All Out. I would have their next match be for the title. Whoever the champion is, it should be for the title.
Right. Okay, I can get behind that. They have to get Hangman and his story or his match at All In settled as early as Saturday, but realistically Wednesday. And if that's Okada, does Hangman call out Okada for being a big a big wuss and, bowing out of the match at Blood and Guts after a single staple. Like, how do we manufacture that match? And is that the match that you would go with at All In? Is Hangman, I should say, and Okada?
Yeah, but see, Hangman's got to win that, and like the Continental title should, I guess, be on the line. But
great, have them win it, and then when the world title match comes up, have them combine the two and never uncombine them, never split them again.
So Mike Straw saying, I don't know what you do with Swerve being 3-0 and having deathmatch. Well, this is why Hangman's the champion. If Hangman's the champion, Swerve being 3-0 doesn't mean shit because Hangman's got the belt, and Hangman still wants to beat Swerve. But now he can call the shot because he is the champion, whether Swerve is got the record or not. So there's ways to get there. I think this is the way to get there. Hangman's got to be the champion. Danielson's run is going to last, however long it's going to last. Danielson faces somebody at All Out. I don't think it should be Hangman, though. I don't even know who it would be because it's 2 weeks after All In. He's already got a match at Grand Slam. This is all presuming Danielson wins. He already has a match against Grand Slam at Dynamite. So who's he face at All Out?
Does it matter?
Yeah,
Christian Cage, once again.
It's Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson wins the title at All In. He comes out on Dynamite and is like, I'm going to be a fighting champion. I'm going to defend this title at every turn until I lose it, and then my run is over.
I mean,
insert somebody.
What if it's Jeff Jarrett? What if Jeff Jarrett gets involved in the All In match and that kind of facilitates the match for All Out? I understand the look on your face because I don't 100% buy it, but they certainly planted a few seeds. They're putting Jeff Jarrett in positions of seniority when it comes to the card. He showed up in the Blood and Guts match. He had the back and forth with Danielson on Dynamite. Like, I don't love it, but at least you got something, and then you got to build a stellar All Out card around everything else. You just have to have a really good TNT title match, which again, you're building a lot of things for All In, but not necessarily for All Out just yet. Is this going to be one of those times where you say, okay, this isn't happening at All In, this is going to happen at All Out instead? So there aren't even certain title matches you can do that with because just about every title has been put on the line at this point.
Danielson and Ospreay at All Out.
But then Ospreay potentially drops another fall.
So?
After you have him maybe lose at All In?
He can win at All In. They did champion versus champion at Forbidden Door. And then who cares if Ospreay loses in a world title match against Bryan Danielson?
I just think that it's the first defense for Danielson, and it should be against someone where there's a story-driven aspect to it.
There is a story-driven aspect to Danielson and Ospreay.
Well, no, my point being, it's someone that you don't think is going to lose to Danielson, or that someone that Danielson can beat, but there's a story component to it.
Well, that's exactly how is Danielson and Ospreay not a story component of somebody Danielson can beat?
When Swerve won the title, who was his first pay-per-view opponent?
Ospreay.
It was Cage. No, it was Christian Cage.
Cage, sure.
So everybody knew Christian Cage wasn't going to win the title, but they tried to make it as storyline motivated as they could. That's kind of the MO lately of new champions in AEW, is you give them a challenger where there's a story behind it, but it's not. It's almost like the outcome is not in any doubt.
How is this refuting Danielson and Ospreay?
Ospreay is not Christian Cage. He's not Jeff Jarrett. You know who's going to win if you put Christian Cage in the ring or Jeff Jarrett in the ring in the title match like this. Ospreay, you put in a little more doubt. And I don't think you want to make that doubt so soon after you have Danielson win the title.
Why are you against, like,
I'm not against having the match. Believe me, I'm not against having the match, but I'm not a big fan of doing the match immediately after winning the title on pay-per-view.
So you would rather let's give Bryan Danielson we know he's probably gonna beat Ospreay. If there's
Why
doubt,
would you
that's
wanna
fine.
why would you want to beat Ospreay if you can beat someone like Jarrett and just continue your title run while the rest of the card is built up as, as an ensemble card instead of a one match card?
Well, you can still make it an ensemble card. All these AEW shows are ensemble cards. That's why they do 15 matches on them. Why wouldn't you do Ospreay, where you have the whole story of, oh, Will Ospreay doubts himself because he was going to cripple Bryan Danielson with the Tiger? The story is there.
But that's when you do it later. That's when you build to that. You don't just give him 2 weeks and be like, have fun.
But it's not 2 weeks.
It's
not 2 weeks. It's months. It goes back to their match at Double or Nothing, or what, a Dynasty. They wrestled at Dynasty. It goes back to that. I just fail to see your argument here.
My argument is
a
2-week build coming off a title win. I understand where you're coming from. There is a history between Danielson and Ospreay, but you'll have to remind people with those 2 weeks that this happened and why it's important for the world title.
Okay, your argument is give him Christian Cage because that's also a 2-week build. And
well, let's give him Jeff Jarrett because Jeff Jarrett just spent the entire run up to the title win and possibly after that as going, being a part of the Owen and being a part of the, I got you to this point. I pushed you to this point. Now I'm going to fight you for the title that you didn't win. I deserve to win.
So you're again using story that has happened in previous weeks,
but also hasn't been dropped over the last 3 months.
But they haven't dropped this. That's been my complaint with the Ospreay Tiger Driver is they haven't dropped it. Like they're still telling you this.
They're making it a point, but they're not directly connecting it to Danielson as like
they are.
No, but they're not doing it in that way where you're supposed to think about Danielson. You're thinking about it as, oh my God,
Joel.
This move is so dangerous that anyone gets hit with it, they're injured. They're not saying specifically, this is because of Danielson. This is all because of Danielson. Danielson caused this. No, they're saying this is a move that injures people. Who did it injure? It doesn't matter. Leave it alone. There's nothing to it.
Joel.
There's nothing to it on a 2-week build.
Literally, when Will Ospreay is holding MJF up in the air for the Tiger Driver, they said that's the move that took out Bryan Danielson. That's the move that Will Ospreay does not want to do because it took out Bryan Danielson. That's the move that Will Ospreay has regrets about because he nearly ended Bryan Danielson's career. I understand that the actual injury didn't put Danielson out for long, and he was at Anarchy in the Arena 2 weeks later, and now he's wrestling for the world title. I get that. I don't like any of that. But to say they don't remind you that this is the move that took out Bryan Danielson is just incorrect.
Fine, but I still stand by the idea of doing it on a 2-week build after he wins the title, because that's what changes, is that you have 2 weeks to build your title challenger, and you're giving it to the guy who just maybe lost another title match. And if wins and losses
instead you give it to Jeff Jarrett.
I give it to Jeff Jarrett because at least it's storyline driven in a way.
But this is storyline driven.
Where he's directly involved with the outcome of the world title match.
Okay.
If Ospreay goes and gets himself involved in the world title match, sure, you can facilitate something out of it. But the idea of doing Ospreay and Danielson just because Ospreay almost injured Danielson, or I say almost because it was the 2-week thing, because of the Tiger Driver stuff, then yeah, it doesn't work. I'd rather they build it longer and stronger than on 2 weeks of like, hey, remember this happened? It's back, and now there's a title involved. Oh, by the way, don't talk about the fact that Ospreay may have lost last week.
We're just going to disagree on this.
That's kind of what these shows are about, right? We're supposed to yell at each other while people get tribalistic in the chat over who they think is a better argument. I don't give a shit about my arguing skills. I'm just here to talk.
Jeff Jarrett and Bryan Danielson by the pay-per-view.
Yeah, Jeff Jarrett and Daniel Bryan. Let's go. He's going to do the yes chants, and Jarrett's going to do the my world. Oh, everyone's going to be eaten in Chicago. Don't ask what they're going to be eaten, but they're going to be there for it. Oh, God. Anyway, What else is there? Do you want to talk about Blood and Guts, the match itself?
Sure, it was fine.
The match beyond was fine. It was a fun plunder match. I think I'm ready to leave Blood and Guts alone for a year, but I understand that there's, the expectation that it comes back annually. I don't think, listen, WWE got people on their back about doing that with Hell in a Cell, making it a pay-per-view every few months or every year, and then having to do it. War Games is becoming that way. Get rid of that too. Don't make it that every year you got to do it just because it's on the calendar. I'm ready to do Blood and Guts as like when it's facilitated, not just it's got to come up because it's once a year. But the match itself was fun. It was fine. It was a big old plunder match, and there were a lot of fun spots. People enjoyed it. The crowd was hot for it. I appreciate that.
It was a good match. I like that they gave some type of stake to it. Darby Allin got something out of it anyway. And then, yeah, that was that. I don't mind it as a once a year match. You just got to build better to it. The build to this one wasn't good. They had the opportunity to make it good, and they didn't. So it's fine if it's a once a year match, as long as the story facilitates it. The story can facilitate it. You just got to put the effort into it. The effort wasn't there for this.
Yeah, and you and I talked about it on our Wednesday show. We almost got the finish. We almost got there. Jack Perry lighting on fire didn't happen. Someone says I quit. We thought it'd be Jack. I said it'd be Jack who says I quit because he's about to be lit on fire. We were almost there.
Jack Perry doesn't give a fuck.
Jack Perry clearly does not. You people in the chat saying fun match. The ending was anticlimactic, and I think because of the way that they had Darby like walking around with the torch, but not the torch, the barbecue lighter, but not doing it. It felt like they were killing time for something. I don't know what that was about. So they got to the end, and it was, I want a TNT title match at All In. Okay, you got it. Was it Matt Jackson who said it? It was Matt who gave up, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So Matt says, okay, you get the title match, and Jack Perry's just like, and then they got the finish, which is Darby saying, okay, now quit, or I'm going to light him on fire. Okay, I quit. That's it. Jack should be pissed off when he comes to, and that's it. We got Darby versus Jack Perry at All In. That was the big announcement coming out of Blood and Guts. Team AEW wins. Darby Allin's the biggest winner in so many ways, my friends, in so many ways. And then you got to do the rest. FTR are somewhere lurking in the shadows coming out of this match, and so are the Acclaimed, assuming they're not too injured. Here we are, and then Okada is there.
Okada,
smartest worker in the match, brother.
Okada in these matches rolls. It's amazing that they're putting Okada in these situations. Bless. And Okada just does not. He's like, all right, I mean, gingerly. I tweeted like he's gonna gingerly work around Blood and completely avoid Guts. And then got a little finger nick from a staple. Hope best wishes to Okada. Hope he heals well.
I hope that they run an angle where he is like his whole arm is taped up. He's in a big sling. Maybe something from a hospital bed where he's in like a body cast because of Blood and Guts. And everyone's just like, bro, you just took a staple. And he's like, yeah, but that doesn't happen in Japan. We don't do that where I come from. And then he calls everyone a bitch, and we're off to the races. By the way, we got a super chat earlier from Skytown Spurs about the Swerve stuff and Hangman saying England doesn't deserve Hangman and Swerve. You know what? Fair. We'll get to what England doesn't deserve later when we talk about the thumbnail stuff. But yeah, the match was... It was what it was. I'm looking more forward to the Okada fallout than I am literally everything else, because they did a good job of making everything individually make sense in terms of the stories, between the feuding members of the Elite versus the feuding members of AEW. And then Mark Briscoe was there because it's Mark Briscoe. And yeah, it was what it was.
The Elite, like yelling at Hangman of like, what are you doing? Get in the match. Why the fuck did they care? He was out there beating up Swerve. Like, you just make it a 4-on-4 match. You still had the advantage at that point.
But you have to be in the ring and officially in the match to start the match beyond, right?
No, you don't.
I don't know.
Get in the ring and then get back out.
they still finished it. They still started the match and finished it. So I don't know. It is what
They
it is.
started the match outside of the ring with Darby and Jack brawling around. They've had matches end on top of the cage before. So I don't feel like you gotta be on there. Like, why are you so mad at Hangman here? Let that man live.
The man's just trying to be petty, like his best friends CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Big CM Punk fan, that Hangman.
Just let him live. Let him beat the shit out of Swerve. It's fine.
True. And the chair shot. I mean, everyone else is talking about it, so I don't need to give you a hot take other than it wasn't for me.
Fair.
That's all I got. You know, I see the drama in it. I think we as fans know the long-term effects more than most. People are saying, you know, the chair was gimmicked. If it was, cool. They did a good job and hopefully everything's fine. But other than that, it just wasn't for me.
Jack Perry taking chair shots back for the boys.
Everyone's always taking chair shots back for somebody, I tell you what. But it's not for me. Anyway, Mariah May comes back as the Glamour. That dropkick, brother. Ooh. That dropkick alone is good for me. And then the big news here is that Toni Storm's back. You and I talked about this for a little bit. Mentioned that we hope that Toni Storm stays off TV for a little while longer. It's not what they ended up doing. They brought her back and she basically said, "Are you ready to die because I am?" And I said, okay, now we're getting a little extreme, but let's go for it. What do you think of Toni Storm making her return this past Wednesday?
It was good. And now she's going to wrestle on Battle of the Belts. Oh, sure.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
We're back.
An eliminator match. The belt is not even on the line at Battle of the Belts.
I'm nodding for those listening in audio form. I'm nodding along. And this was the bigger news. Camille finally makes her AEW debut. She sided with Mercedes Moné. Saw someone on Twitter call her Camillionaire, and I said, "Oh shit, that's what they should do. They should be calling her."
She's riding dirty.
Yes.
Trying to get her riding dirty.
Yes. And that's what she should call the torture rack. I've seen a lot of people put on a lot of torture racks in my time. Camille, if you or anyone else that is near and dear to you are watching, please don't do the hopping. The hopping reminds me of my toddler trying to like learn how to hop around. It's just, I saw Alex Hammerstone do it on TNA this past week, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay, that's how you do it. You go. It's an up and down motion. It's not a hopping motion, but Camille was definitely putting her all into it.
It gives extra leverage to it. You really break when you hop. When you
sure. It's very funny to watch when you put it in the context of like, I have a kid. And I watch my kid hop around all day. I think it's very funny, but it's good to see her. It's good to see Camille make her debut, siding with Mercedes Moné. Feels like maybe Moné will have other people join her at some point. This isn't a report or anything. It's just, it feels like she should build a stable.
Well, I have a report for you, Joel Pearl.
Oh, let's go.
As a subscriber to the Moné Mag, she has openly talked about, you know, kind of creating her own stable and wanting to do her own stable.
But I mean, like, we haven't dropped any exclusive news about who is.
We don't need to pay $5 to Sean Ross Sapp for exclusive news when you can subscribe to the Moné Mag and get all the news straight from the source, Mercedes Moné.
Wait, don't do that. I want to get my money from FightfulSelect.com. Best $5 in the business, okay?
Sure. But I'm just saying, you can subscribe to the Moné Mag. I did like in this week's newsletter, the opening paragraph is like, hey, all you news aggregators, please make sure to call it the Moné Mag. Not my newsletter, not this or that, the Moné Mag. I was like, yes, aye, Mercedes. I aggregate properly.
Hey, SEO for the CEO. I get it. She's trying to do
the
it.
right source.
The Bellillionaires.
Billionaires.
You got your Camillionaire, and then you're going to have your Bellionaires. The Bellionaires. There it is. But they'd be the Garcias if they came over, right?
Garcias, yeah.
They don't get to own the Bella name. Yeah, I know that people are shouting out Renegade Twins and they're Megan Bain, and there are certain people who will or will not show up. as of right now, Britt is a person down, and a lot of people have started pointing towards Jamie Hayter. Fightful Selected had reported that in terms of the Jamie Hayter stuff, it's not no news, but it's that there have been conversations about what Jamie Hayter's next steps could be if and when she's ready to come back. And that means something. So who knows where that runs? And if it's with Britt, cool. Or maybe it's going to be a match against Saraya at All In.
Best wishes, Jamie Hayter. I don't know when she'll be back, but
hope it's soon and hope it's healthy. And then, of course, Monet and Camille showed up at San Diego Comic-Con to do the match announcements, dressed up as Bane and Poison Ivy, respectively. I thought that was very funny.
Yeah.
Good for them. Yeah, that's it for AEW Roundup. Is there anything you want to add before we go into the other stuff? No, never.
Wrong about Will Ospreay and Bryan Danielson.
I don't know about that. But meanwhile, Victor sent a super chat saying, "Imagine thinking Brandon Danielson ain't the damn goat." I can't use the other word. Well, I could, but I'm not. Because I want to be minivan friendly until we drop an F-bomb, and inevitably it's just the way it is.
Imagine thinking Bryan Danielson ain't the fucking goat.
Let the record show it wasn't me who dropped that F-bomb.
It rarely is. It's typically me.
Yeah, I need to be in a mood or very, very tired. I'll tell you now, he's gonna use this against me later. If you ever want to get, I told this to Jeremy once, if you ever want to get a rise out of me on this show, Fridays are the time to do it, because I will have been up late and sleep deprived more, because I do the TNA post show, I edit everything, and then I go to bed by midnight. I'm up by 6. So if you really want to get a rise out of me when I'm tired, it's the Friday show.
Is that why you're wrong about Bryan Danielson's match at All Out?
No, it's because I'm reading Jeff Jarrett's tea leaves, and I'm a big fan of Jeffrey Jarrett. That's JEFFREY JARRETT. Jeff Jarrett. Haha. Soon to be AEW World Heavyweight Champion.
I'm for that.
That would be fine. And then
he's coming up on 1 year as the Texas Chainsaw Deathmatch Champion.
He's gonna cash it in. He's gonna option C his Texas Chainsaw Massacre Deathmatch Championship. That would rule. I'd love if he introduced that title as the option C title. That's it. See, not so bad now, are we?
That's a real story there.
That is the one. Oh man. There you go. Our truth on Cody's podcast. If you want to make it past 9 p.m., got to take a nap.
Cody called out Matt Cardona for being a big nap guy. Pecker checker and nap guy, Matt Cardona.
Was it in the same story? Because Cody does tend to lump all these things in together.
No, he actually didn't call him out for the pecker checker part. He did call him out for being a big nap guy, though.
I understand it. I get it too. I would be that person. Sorry, someone's pointing at the stat attacking Willow. I said it when Willow won the CMLL World Women's Championship. I said, well, it's going to be fun when Chris Statlander wins the CMLL World Women's Championship at All In. And it looks like we're starting to move in that direction.
Willow's facing Diana tomorrow at Battle of the Belts.
Good. I'm glad. I'm sure that Thunder Rosa will get involved at the end.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Taya Valkyrie.
Well, Taya's facing Tony Storm at Battle of the Belts.
Great. I'm sure that Thunder Rosa... No belts on the line. It's an eliminator.
Yes.
What happened to belts? Because we're battling for them.
I don't know. It's very... I don't know why they do an eliminator match with the champion involved instead of just putting the title on the line. It's not like Taya Valkyrie's going to beat Tony Storm. Just put the dump belt on the line. It's fine.
Oh, good stuff. Anyway, good stuff is WrestleMania. It's coming to London, baby. It's coming home. It's not really. I mean, there's talks.
Well, they can't win a soccer championship, so maybe they can get a WrestleMania match.
So the news dropped last night officially over on Fightful Select. We had a free post because the Brits were all asleep, that there's a discussion between the mayor of London and WWE officials about bringing WrestleMania to the UK. And then the London government had sent along a memo that was embargoed until the local time 12:01, which was, what was that, 5 p.m., whatever it was.
7.
It was 7 p.m. Thank you. Time zones don't exist in my brain. They made the announcement that they're talking about it. We don't know if it's going to be or when it's going to be, but there's certainly an excitement around the idea of bringing WrestleMania to London. Someone saying too soon on it's coming home. That's why I said it. What do you think? WrestleMania's second international location ever. Although if you ask the mayor of London, it's the first.
It's fine.
Good deal.
I don't have a ton of thoughts on this because I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's fine that they're talking about it. Okay, how much are they going to pay for it? Because that's what it really comes down to, right? Like they're going to have to pay for it. And it's not going to happen next year. So 42 would be the earliest that it happens. So much can change between now and then. Where is it going to be? It's going to be a 2-night event. Probably rain in April. So
it rains all the time. It's the UK.
It's a big deal. Like it's cool, but there's just not. I'm not someone who thinks that far ahead into the future, especially when it's an event that isn't directly something that I am tied to or am going to. Sorry, everybody.
No beans and toast mania for Jeremy Lambert.
Like if it happens, great. Like I'll like the early WrestleMania. It'll be over earlier. Like fantastic. Like cool. I'm not going to it. It doesn't really affect me. WWE is going to make their money regardless. All right.
I love John Cena's tweet on the matter. I thought this was very funny for like the most us way of thinking. He says, quote, "The city of London and all of the UK has supported WWE through thick and thin. I try to minimize the word deserve, so I will use more appropriate terms." That's like dig number one. I've said it before and I stand by it. In my mind, London has earned a chance, that's dig 2, to host WrestleMania. I won't get to compete when it happens, it's dig 3, but I will be there as a fan for sure. John Cena.
Does John Cena get like a finder's fee of this? Because this all started because he came out at Money in the Bank. Like this all started because of him.
I love him. He's just like, deserve, nah, earned, I guess. I won't be there. Have fun.
There's a fan. He'll come out there in his suit and be like, he'll be the host. He'll probably be the host of that WrestleMania, right?
Will he wear a Union Jack suit for that entire show? Do you think he'll do that?
Yeah, he'll do that. That sounds right. John Cena will be the host for WrestleMania in London. That'll be fine.
WrestleMania 50, live from whatever stadium they build.
So the guy, the London mayor's last name is Khan. You think Nick Khan's having the meeting, Triple H is there. I think Triple H felt awkward of just like, last time I was in a room with two different Khans. I don't actually know what happened, but
looking at a photo, maybe no, they're not related. I'm just saying.
And do you think Triple H is like, do you think that was the first question of like, hey, do you know Shad Khan? Do you know Tony Khan? Are you related to them? And like, if the answer was yes, then he was immediately out. But if the answer is no, it's like, okay, we can talk business now.
I know others have pointed this out. It's the mini title belt that gets it for me.
That thing was interesting.
Well, if you look at him, the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, next to both Nick and Triple H, I can see why they gave him the small one.
I thought that was photoshopped. I thought like they shrunk him and the title for some reason.
Nah, the dude's all of 5'8", and that's not me. I'm not. Come on, man. I'm not making fun of anyone's size and stature. It's just very funny watching him, the mayor of London, next to Nick and Paul, and just being like, they gave him the junior belt, is right.
I legitimately thought they shrunk the title and him. I was like, why they do that to this man?
Honey, I shrunk the belt.
They couldn't give him like a giant belt to make him like feel better. Like here, like a consolation little prize. Like,
you get the giant belt when you get the WrestleMania, and then you get the Union Jack side plates. So this was the in talks belt. That's what he got.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes sense. I can see that.
It was so funny just watching that. He would have looked sillier with the big belt, people are saying, and I think I agree. How would he hold that thing?
Nah, the big belt would have been hilarious. At least like you feel good holding the big giant title. Like, you get this little mini title. It's like, the fuck am I supposed to do with this thing?
He's just holding it like this with this.
Yeah, he's like trying to hold. It's like that's small. Like it looked so weird. Like it looked awful. At least a big title, again, like you feel like a champion with that thing. This was like participation trophy shit.
Thank you for participating in this paying us more money sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Here's a miniature replica belt for your.
Do you think they do that of like all the states that they talk to when they go to these meetings for this would actually be a great bit.
A token of our appreciation.
They should start doing this. It's like National Signing Day in college football. So they have like the mini belts with all the cities. Here's Minnesota, here's Las Vegas, here's Nashville. They have like the mini titles that they've given all of the commissions and representative in front of them. And then they're like, where is SummerSlam going to be held? And then they pull out the giant title with like the Las Vegas logo or whatever the logo is for wherever they're going. And then they hand that title. So then all these little dorks from Tennessee and Minnesota and North Dakota and South Dakota and stuff, like they're just holding their little dumb little mini titles. But then Las Vegas swinging big dick title around that were like, yeah, we got WrestleMania, bitches. It'd be great.
Yeah. That's the one that I want. This was great. Louis asking, do they sell belt watches?
They do, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, I was about to say that's been a thing for a while.
And I would, you know what? That is not as it's gaudy, but it's not that bad. It's like one of those things where like I'd bust it out for a stupid occasion. I think the world title one is pretty ugly because it has the world title faceplate and it's longer. But like they do sell those watches, and I would sooner give that to a public official than whatever they did, with the mini belt. And why sellable? Absolutely nailed it. There was confusion over the conversion measurements going from metric. So it's Stonehenge. It was a Stonehenge moment for those who have ever seen Spinal Tap. Oh man, I don't think they have belt rings.
My grandma used to knit these things.
What?
So my grandma was big into the knitting.
Clearly.
Okay? She knit like blankets, and she could knit things out of like plastic bags. She would knit like a hat out of a plastic bag. This is what old people do. They just knit a bunch of shit. She go to the market, the farmer's market. She'd go down there every weekend and sell her knitting stuff. So my dad, people who may or may not know my father from previous shows or anything, Dad's a very dirty man. Rest in peace. But he asked my grandma, my grandma was like, hey, what can I knit? Yeah. And my dad's like, can you knit me a jacket for my cock and balls? Is what my father said. So my grandmother, crocheting is what the old people call it. She crocheted a little dick-shaped thing and two little ball things. And it was a cock and balls warmer, is what she called it. Probably somewhere around my mom's house now, just chilling. But these things do exist. They can be manufactured. And maybe you can put it as a title belt. Maybe it's a title belt, and then like the cock and balls warmer hangs off. So you got your belt, and then and then you scoop your cock and balls into it with the belt there. So you hold up your pants and you hold up your dick.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. So anyway, London.
I will post this on on my socials today, assuming my mom has a photo of it somewhere.
If this is your first time watching, you're welcome, or I'm sorry. Yeah, the shoe belts with your dick belts.
Those little shoe belts are kind of cool, honestly.
They were. Adrian Hernandez, he unboxed his on
yeah,
the show. That rule.
Yanked him, bless him.
God, I don't want to think about this ever. Is this an heirloom that gets passed down?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
About to find out some stuff.
Let me message my mom. Be like, hey,
All
do you have
right.
a photo?
Can you drive it down to me?
It's
only a few hours. You'll be fine. Someone's saying maybe. Oh man. Would you?
my mom's gonna be very weird if like when I'm asking, do you have a photo of the cock and balls warmer Granny knitted?
Not Granny.
Random good text message at 11 a.m. on a Friday to my mother.
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to my mom in like a week either. It was like the first message I send her in like a week.
Oh, that's how you want to do it. Oh man. Your mom's gonna say
no, she will know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm sure she will. So,
she's probably gonna like call me here in a second, be like, what the hell are you, what do you want? It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Oh god, that's so stupid. So Mania in the UK, I know you're saying you don't think about when, but like, let's think about when. When do you do it? Do you do it in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years? Indy gets one, Vegas gets one. I assume Minneapolis is now back in the running because of this whole snafu. Like, are they fourth in line or do they jumble it? Like, how does this work?
They are however much money they pay in line.
That's
all right. If they're going to pay more than Indianapolis, they're going to get it. That's how this works. Indy's already paid. They're going to get Mania at some point. It wasn't specified when, so they don't have to deliver on a certain day. They know they're going to get it. If London is going to pay $20 billion more, that'd be absurd, but whatever. It's their money, not mine. Then they're going to get it first. It's that simple.
Wouldn't it be very funny if it's like you have one city or one country? Oh, and you also have Saudi Arabia. They also want a WrestleMania. So there's that. And believe me, they can outbid anyone who tries. Would you would you have, now I'm broken. Would it be funny if one of these cities is just like, oh, we don't have enough for 2 nights. So like, what kind of deal can we get for like a 1-night WrestleMania? Can we do that? Can we do a 1-night WrestleMania?
Go halvesies.
Can we go halvesies?
Night 1 in Saudi Arabia, night 2 in London.
It's just a short flight. It's cool. It's just like WrestleMania 2. It's going to be three cities, 1 hour each. Oh, it's 3 different cities split the card. And it's the biggest international show. So it's like Australia and London and God, sure, Saudi or Canada or something. It's just something ridiculous like that, just to make it bigger and worse for everyone. And they do it in a warehouse.
They should expand it to 3 nights. Well, then you got Raw and SmackDown as well. So, could all happen.
Yeah, I know Sean talked about this thing in the chat. He brought up 2 different cities for each night. But like, do you want to do that? Because then you're actively telling people one night is going to be stronger than the other, or you're making fans choose, or you're making fans have to go between both. And I don't think that, I know WWE's like, I don't give a shit, but like, I
folks,
think
who cares?
It does the fans a disservice if you're making them go between cities for that.
Who cares, folks? I have acquired the cock and balls warmer.
She really? She came through?
Of course she did. What are you?
It's true.
Of course.
Stoner Jesus. This is your name. Everyone just needs to tweet hashtag cock and balls warmer. I don't know if the ampersand will show, but cock and balls warmers.
Let me upload this on the chat here.
This is going to be absolutely horrendous, and I'm all about it. Can't believe this is what we're
expert crocheter, my grandmother, rest in peace.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Oh my God. It looks like it looks like an elephant. What are you doing?
So also, if you ever during those cold winter months, if you need to, they should hand these things out.
Why are the balls like so individually crocheted?
Because Joe,
I get how many we are anatomically given,
right?
Most of us, but like,
maybe your left ball is a little bit colder than your right ball, so
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't need to.
they come in a sack naturally. So why is the sack divided in this case?
Look, you can, if you want to, you can crochet it together, and then you can hold it together, or you could go separately.
Brother, what is wrong with us? What is wrong with our show?
I got more photos. She sent me 3 photos.
I just got a message from the anonymous ITW general manager saying happy Friday. Yeah, it's something. I don't know if happy is the word I'd use. Maybe if that thing, then it would maybe be a happy Friday.
My grandma showed her work here. Look, you can see you can decorate it.
Yeah.
You got streamers coming off of it.
That's what I was looking for, were the straps, because that thing ain't going to stay on so easily on its own. Anyway, if you have kids, don't let them watch our show. Or do. It's not my problem. You're the parent. You get to decide. Timestamp, 1 hour, 10 minutes. There it is, baby. 70 minutes into the show, and we made things weird.
Dude, my grandma would have raked on this show. She would have been amazing if we were doing this show when she was still. My grandma was a character. Bless her.
Feels like everyone's grandparent was
a
fair. Character.
They're all old and they don't give a fuck.
I had a conversation about this with people recently, where it's like because I've been going to synagogue for the morning process of my dad, and like at breakfast, because in the mornings they serve a breakfast. Some of the older folks, like I'm talking in their late 50s, early 60s, are talking about how when they used to go, there were all the characters, and like the characters at the synagogue are kind of just gone now. And I thought that was a really interesting thought process, because the characters have all gone. But I also said, I was like, well, yeah, it's because they all had PTSD from the war. But like, it's true. All the characters are gone. We're not characters anymore, Jeremy. Cancel culture came for us all.
USA Network, characters are welcome.
Well, yeah, but I mean, are they getting good?
Some stuff on USA Network's fine. I don't know.
Just got a message saying, I keep this show on my phone so I can hide it from the children.
Oh, it used to be on the TV.
TV.
Yeah. But then the 12 kids started like paying attention, and then they were like, oh, Jeremy kind of sucks. He curses a lot. He's doing a bunch of dumb things.
Oh, God. Yeah, you got Chuck talking about the NBA rights deal.
Oh,
he made a statement, Charles Barkley.
He said, fuck this.
He basically, from what I perused on, it just sounds like he said, yeah, that sucks. Our show was great. I don't like what they did because they took the money. Therefore, the fans got screwed. Which basically means they didn't pay me enough. So I'm upset.
Oh, it's going to be great when they're doing the final season of Inside the NBA and they're spending all the money like Conan's final week at NBC. It's going to rule.
Let's see if I can find the. This is definitely a Tuesday conversation, but here we are. Charles Barkley. Do you want me to read this out loud?
Sure.
Clearly, the NBA has wanted to break up with us from the beginning. I'm not sure TNT ever had a chance. TNT matched the money, but the league knows Amazon and these tech companies are the only ones willing to pay for the rights. And when they double in the future, when they double in the future, the NBA didn't want to piss them off. It's a sad day when owners and commissioners choose money over the fans. It just sucks. I just want to thank everyone who has been at Turner for the past 24 years. They are the best people and the most talented, and they deserve better. I also want to thank the NBA and its fans, the best fans in sports. We're going to give you everything we have next season. Charles Barkley, TNT Inside the NBA analyst.
All right, sure.
I thought the best fans were the wrestling fans, and that the best shows were WrestleMania. What are we doing here?
Well, the AEW is having great conversations with Turner right now. Very in-depth conversations, but they're great. And all will be revealed very soon. Not through WWE PR, who needs to mind their own damn business.
The worst. Can't believe that. We'll have to go to London to get our answer. Wouldn't it be funny if they announced the media rights deal at All In? We're in the UK where our media rights deal doesn't matter in the States, but here it is. It's announced.
I thought the winner of Blood and Guts should have announced the media rights deal, but that didn't
I saw that, and I agreed with you. It should have been. Could you imagine Darby Allin being like, "We got a new deal. It's X amount over the next 5." And he's just reading. He puts on his cheaters, his glasses. he's just reading off a cue card in the middle of the ring, sitting there. Banner night for Darby Allin.
Jack Perry gets to announce it while he's cuffed up on the cage.
He's just trying to get his wits about him. It's 150. Oh God, what is $150 million a year?
That's how they should have gotten the Young Bucks to quit. It's like, did you get a new deal with Warner Brothers Discovery? Oh no, we couldn't get it done. Say you quit. You couldn't get the job done. You couldn't get us a new contract with Warner Brothers. Say you quit. And then they had to quit because of that, because they couldn't get the deal done with old Zaslav. One Bill Phil would have got it done.
Got to bring back Phil. Jason saying, Bloody Swerve saying, whose house? And the crowd says Warner's house. That's right. He just goes into showman mode. That's right. WBD and AEW have agreed to a new deal in principle for X amount of money over the next X amount of years.
Jack Perry out here looking like a jack off. AEW, Warner Brothers Discovery signed a new contract with Zaslav.
Wow, you took the long way to make that rhyme.
I made it work though. I did pretty good off the top of the head. Suck it, Top Dollar.
That's right. He does not want to battle rap you.
Dude, I was watching Too Hot to Handle. Great show, by the way. This guy on here, he's like, I'm a rapper. And so they were like, oh, do a rap. He rhymed you with two with you. If that is your rhyme, you are not a rapper.
No, you're a guy on a television program.
Yeah. I was offended by this man calling himself a rapper and rhyming you with, it was like, oh, I want to get to know you. Do you want to get to know me too? I really, really like you. That was his rhyme.
That's not a rhyme. That's a grade 5 poem.
Yeah, that's what the wife said. She's like, he did a haiku, not a rhyme. What are we doing? There.
Rap needs more haiku rappers. You had mumble rappers. Maybe that's the next step. We do haiku rappers.
I'm rhyming Zaslav with jack off the top of the head.
Well, you're certainly trying. You're certainly trying. King Potato saying Sammy Guevara should be the one to announce the WBT deal with the cue cards. You know what? It worked for his pregnancy announcement with Ty Mello. I would love to see him show up, do the cue cards, and he gets to announce the whole deal, money and all, and including like all the fine print is just one commercial break. Sammy Guevara with all the deals of the WBD.
Picture in picture with the cue cards.
Well, that's something they would do too. Like, listen, if they're gonna have Swerve and Hangman go through the tables or go through the stage during picture in picture, may as well announce the TV deal in picture in picture. They need to end a match in picture again. Hasn't happened in a long time. Didn't they do it with Sammy and like Matt Hardy? No, it wasn't Sammy and Matt Hardy, but I think it was a Matt Hardy match.
Sure.
Where it ended in picture in picture. Again, someone in the chat's going to remember this piece of weird trivia because we can only remember so much.
Yeah, I don't remember this at all, but sure. I'll take it.
I think it's happened once. This came up in conversation a couple of weeks ago where I was like, oh, someone saying, yeah, there you go. Caden saying an Orange Cassidy match. Could have been Orange Cassidy. Anyway, it is what it is. That's fun. What else is there? There's not much. There's not much here left. The Drew McIntyre is the hater of the year.
That rule.
That did rule. Takes a photo with Jack Perry. Photo comes down. Everyone's Spidey senses go up. But that did rule. I love Big Mac and Mac Mini taking a photo together. They look alike. The big beard, the long hair. It's good stuff, Drew McIntyre. I called it, hey, all you goats and kids. That one must have popped you. All you cool goats and kids.
That was fine.
Because you see a goat's kid is a kid. A baby goat is a kid. Cats and kittens.
I got it.
Yeah. And Big Mac was because of the Zoom call thing. Basically, I was adding layers to tweets that people weren't going to understand.
I got it.
But calling him Mac Mini, that was probably the best part. Anyway, this was fun. It's totally harmless. I'm not shocked that Drew was at Blood and Guts, considering it's Nashville. But
Was he there? Was he at Blood and Guts?
I have to assume he was at the show somewhere, or just like attending or visiting.
Why couldn't they were in Nashville? They just ran into each other, or they decided to hang out the day after. Like, why did it have to be at Blood and Guts?
They should be at the show supporting each other, Jeremy. They're wrestlers.
Maybe. I mean, I assume Drew has friends in AEW. He does, but they're not on television. So I don't know who Drew would have been.
The only guy I can think of is the one who certainly isn't on TV these days.
I'm sure Drew's friends with some of the guys in the company and everything. But I don't know if he would have been at the show. I feel like it would have been a bigger deal if he was like actually at the show.
You think Sheamus was there? Oh, wait a minute. Aren't they all in Japan right now?
I don't think Sheamus is in Japan.
No,
Drew's not in Japan, clearly.
That's fair. Is it a SmackDown thing?
Yeah, it's mainly SmackDown. There are some like Liv's over there, Damage Control's over there, Priest is over there. There's Raw people there.
Okay. I know Damage Control was out there because I know Asuka made she came out with them as well, and they're doing Mako versus Bailey today in Tokyo. So that's pretty cool. Is that tomorrow? Okay, maybe it's tomorrow. Either way, okay. So people saying it's a mix of both shows, but Drew's not there. That's really what it comes down to. And then Caden saying Drew's friends with the Bucks. Everyone's friends with the Bucks. Everyone's just best pals with the Bucks. Look at that. Everyone loves the Bucks. Who could possibly not be friends with the Young Bucks? They seem like the nicest people in the world with absolutely nothing. Good Christian boys that don't make enemies, right?
They did media for Blood and Guts.
I heard you were very excited.
Who was excited?
You were very excited.
How? No.
Yeah, you were. You were like, you tweeted out. Whenever you tweet out about these things, it means you're excited.
That's not true at all, because yesterday I tweeted out this Tony Khan quote where he was like, I get so much. He said stick. I think he meant shit, but like he's trying to like watch his language. Bless him.
He's censoring himself.
Yeah. He's like, I get so much stick if I announce 6 matches. I get more stick per capita than anybody. That was a great line.
Why is he so professional?
Yeah. And he's like, people are mad at me if I sneeze. I just tweeted like, hell yeah, defiant Tony Khan is back. And of course people are like, oh, Tony's crying, blah, 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 blah. And then people are, being like, oh, look at Fightful showing bias and everything. And the funny thing is like, that was not a hell yeah, I'm rooting for AEW. Like, yeah, go get him, Tony. It's a hell yeah, that media call was absolutely nothing. And I was happy Tony just decided to be like, you know what? Let me take some shots here and just get angry at people who give me a bunch of shit. It's not me rooting for AEW or being against WWE. This is me wanting this media call to have some juice to it. And it finally did, thanks to Tony and those comments. So no, just because I tweet, I didn't even show any bias on that. I was just like, the Young Bucks did media. That's it. They did a sneaker podcast. They didn't even plug the event. The host did all of the plugging. They did say like, oh yeah, Blood and Guts, like it's this week. And then the hosts were like, also it's Dynamite, 8 p.m., also Collision, also Rampage. Bucks should have been like, yeah, we don't work those shows.
Yeah,
sneaker podcast.
Yeah, they exist. That's right. I'm looking for the tweet because I know you. Did you delete it?
I didn't delete any tweet. No.
The one about the Bucks doing media. When was this? Was this Monday?
Yeah, I think they did yeah. I listened to it on Monday. I don't tweet that much.
I know you don't. That's why it was easy for me to go back and find it, but I couldn't find it. There we go. The Young Bucks have done media ahead of Blood and Guts. To me, that's like the ultimate. That's the ultimate endorsement, is when Jeremy states a factual tweet about what happened. And in this case, the Young Bucks, yes, they did media ahead of Blood and Guts. That was the show they were promoting, allegedly. Big deal. Big deal.
They did media because everybody, Darby Allin just called them out for not doing any media. So just like, well, they did media. That's it.
Good for them.
They're good interviews. Like, I wish they would do more media, honestly. Like, they clearly pick and choose who they do it with. It's usually print with SI because Barrasso he's gonna he's gonna ask good questions, but it's print, so you can kind of work around a lot of stuff. And maybe there's some type of approval of what goes on there. And then this was a sneaker podcast. They weren't asking him anything outside of like the realm of sneaker and how sneakers are involved in their matches. So yeah, they clearly pick and choose what they're going to do here. But I wish they would do more. They're good interviews.
Welcome to our new show, In the Stitch, all about sneaker culture and professional wrestling. The Young Bucks, you have an open invitation to join us anytime. I promise we'll ask you only the questions you want to answer. In the Stitch, live on Fightful Overbooked.
We got to bring in Lilo.
I was watching one of my favorite stupid creators that are out there. His name's Sir Yacht. He's like just coming up. He's some guy. He's out. I think he's out in Cleveland or in the Ohio area. And he did a I only eat at Buc-ee's for a week. He went down to Auburn for this, the university, and like ate at Buc-ee's for a week. And he kept finding these Stitch USA t-shirts. And he kept buying the Stitch USA t-shirts at the Buc-ee's. So now I'm just thinking, because you mentioned Leela about that video. It's very funny. In the Heels. That's our women's only wrestling talk.
Yeah.
That's our other one. In the Stitch is for us.
Yeah.
And the Bucks. It's only with the Bucks. In fact, if we ever land a live interview in the Bucks, we're gonna redo the branding on the show.
What about like On the Soul? Like soul, like soul
we could do it. I don't know if it would be as readily accepted.
I'm like, so On the Soul? Like it's pretty good.
No, yeah. Like Soul Canvas.
Soul Canvas?
No, I can't do that. This is just like us trying to come up with the idea for this show.
Yeah, but I dominated that.
I love how someone actually finally asked you in your tweets, how did you get to the idea of In the Weeds? I forgot that we've been around long enough that people probably don't understand where the idea for this show name came from. And then I tweeted where it came up. And then Sean retweeted it with a completely different non sequitur answer.
Oh, did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah, the quote tweet that he gave me was something like, not me, the quote tweet that he did to my tweet was like, I remember when Vince came back and everyone said that I was, fear mongering and all that. I'm like, that's not what we're talking about. That's not what we're here for. Oh, we should call it Overbooked Sold Out. It should be sold out, but SOLED.
Yeah,
that would be it.
Like
Bucks, come and join us on Fightful Overbooked Sold Out.
I remember when they announced Sold Out and they spelled it like that. Like my mom was very scared of like buying this show.
Oh, Jesus freaks.
Because, well, I don't think that, but because it was spelled sold, like your soul instead of sold like a ticket. She was like, I don't know about this. And WrestleMania 14, they called it X-rated because it was for DX, X-rated. My mom was like, you can't watch this. I was like, it's just D-Generation X, Mom. You know how they tell everybody to suck their cocks? That's all they're doing.
She's like, oh, that's much better. Here's your dick warmer. I mean, don't forget.
It all ties back to the dick warmer. Warm it up before it gets sucked, all right? It's a nice warm cock to suck. You don't want to suck a cold cock?
Stop it. No. What are we doing? Let me put it that way. WrestleMania 30 really messed the people up. Oh my God, what are we doing here? We don't have much to talk about. Like I said, SmackDown is taped tonight. Rampage is taped as per normal. We talked about that before Dishonor for way longer than I thought we would. You want to talk about TNA? Like, what do you want to do? I did a post show. Here's the most takeaway thing from TNA. Joe Hendry is there, and he continues to be there. And he's got a show on Tuesday that's not TNA related that he's going to be on.
He's not the champion, though.
He's not the champion. Nick Nemeth is a champion.
Yeah, allegedly.
The wedding, though. Oh, buddy, next week you and I are going to have stuff to talk about. When we talk about that wedding, that's going to be, we're going to talk about that. It's going to be very funny stuff because I saw it live and it's hilarious. It was good stuff.
I'm looking forward to the wedding.
Yes, as you should be. When they announced it or when they dropped those pieces of paper, those flyers to come to the show, fantastic. Good stuff. Yeah, now we're talking about TNA. How can we do this? What else should we talk about? Otherwise, this show's going to end pretty early.
I got things to do this afternoon, so I'm okay if the show ends early. Sorry, everybody. I'm trying to have a life today.
I mean, I'm fine with it too, because really, like, what are we doing? What are we talking about here? We've already gone off the rails. We usually give you 2 hours, but there ain't that much. I saw Snoop Dogg carrying the Olympic torch, and now I'm just like, that's all I can think about for the rest of my day. Did you see this?
Snoop Dogg?
Yeah, carrying the Olympic torch. You see this?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. But that's all I can think about now. It's over. That's it.
Good show, everybody.
Wonderful. Glad we did this. Jeremy, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
I am not caught up on the G1 quite yet. I've not watched yesterday's show just yet. So that's where I'm at. I've watched the first 3 nights. There's been 4 nights. I'm good on the first 3. 4th, not there yet. Probably some point this weekend. I had to watch Karate Kid. I had to get caught up on that. Way more important than wrestling. And Too Hot to Handle returned. And so way more important as well. Not going to play college football, at least not right now, sadly. Again, I'm going to touch grass or sand, I guess. Going to the great beaches of Ohio today, everybody.
That's the way to do it.
Cobra Kai. I've not seen the 5th episode yet. I'm not even caught up on it, but I've seen the first 4.
If you want to know who's going to team with Trent and Mike, with Speedball Mike Bailey and Trent versus the Rascals next week on TNA, go over to Fightful.com. We have posted the spoilers. I'm not going to tell you who it is here. You want to dive into the CM Punk contract BS for 10 seconds before we head on out of here?
Sure.
Is he restructuring his deal, and will he take over NXT? Is he going to be CM NXT?
Yes.
Wonderful. I'm so glad we did this. There's really nothing to add about this. If he's going to if he's going to have a new deal and he's happy and they're happy and he's picking his time, sure. Why not? There's no hot take to this, right?
Things seem to be going well. Everyone seems to be getting along. Him and Drew are having a hot program. He's got stuff going with Seth. There's plenty for him to do after all of this. It's all good. It's all good in the world of CM Punk. Did an interview with Denise Salcedo. Everyone go check that out. That was a fun interview.
Yeah, go check that out. Denise has been killing it at San Diego Comic-Con. That's going on right now too. I honestly, I'm fine if we call it early today because we covered everything we needed to. There really isn't much going on in the world right now. Right?
Omos is calling out reporters.
Yeah, wait, what about?
There's a report that WWE is giving up on Omos. It was from The Observer. And Omos tweeted, "Journalism has turned into National Enquirer."
Yeah, okay. And what does he want? What does he want? Does he want to prove us wrong, or does he want to just call it out? What are we doing?
I don't know if WWE's given up on him, but they're not using him. That's for sure.
Shit, not doing anything with him. Do they need someone to clean up and catering? Because then they're using him. I don't know what he's doing backstage if he's being brought backstage. Nobody knows where he is. Omos and Dave Meltzer at WrestleMania London. That's the one. That's it. That's it. Now we all have to read about it and write about it. Sure. So that's it. There was no guts. There was plenty of blood. But I think we're just good. Jeremy, let's actually go home this time. Are we done?
We
get out early?
Sure.
I don't think there's just there's nothing else to really talk about. There's
plenty to talk about, Joel.
Well, what do you want to talk about?
Well, we have a great episode of Battle of the Belts. We have ROH. SmackDown.
We did ROH.
Is tonight. The tag team championships titles will be determined in a number 1 contenders match.
Sure.
Gauntlet.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Royal Rampage. That's going to be a fun match.
Yeah. Everything looks good and everything's already been taped. That's kind of the problem.
What happened to Mox? He's chilling. Let that man live.
Let the man listen. He's been trying to take his vacation for the last 3 years. Let him take his damn vacation.
Yeah, let him live.
This is my vacation. Omos should be out here. He should be the world champion. It should be Omos versus Cody at SummerSlam for the world title.
Cody probably wants to do that match, honestly.
Of course, big man, little man, he'd be all over that.
Yeah.
And then they could do a podcast afterwards, kind of talking about how that match came together.
Cody's podcast with R-Truth kind of ruled.
I'm going to go back and watch it. I did hear it was very funny, or listen to it, whatever it is.
Cody has a good rapport with these people.
Can't believe Cody Rhodes, AEW superstar, is on good terms with WWE talent. Can't allow that to happen. What are we doing here?
Look, if big news breaks the minute the show ends, someone else has got to cover it.
Exactly. There will be 20 other people talking about it. For us, we had WrestleMania London news. And then we talked about everything else from this week. I think we've gone as far as we can on today's episode.
Wow. Joel running from the grind. He already took Monday's show off, and now he wants to end Friday's show early. Let it be known this is Joel's decision.
Fine by me. I'm good if you're good.
Running from the grind. Why Syllable calls it.
Anyway, Jeremy, anything else to add, or you want to keep doing this thing? You're the one who's also going places after this.
I am.
Well, let's let you get out early and let's go get a head start on your Friday and your day off.
Let the record show. Day off.
Afternoon off.
Let the record show. Joel is running from the grind, not me.
That's fine. Running from the grind might pay me more.
Just would like that to be on record there.
Leave it in the comments. Jeremy, you want to?
Oh, the Young Bucks had an interview with SI.
No, you're lying. Please don't.
No, they did.
Did they or no?
No, they did.
Oh, Jesus, no.
The Young Bucks offer an inside look at Blood and Guts. Where was the interview? Sports Illustrated. As I said, Sports Illustrated or sneakers. That's it.
Oh, man. Work Wrestling saying that McIntyre and Punk are working closely to craft their feud, and all references to past AEW or backstage issues have been given the green light by Punk ahead of time.
Sure.
There you go. I am vacating shit. The only vacate I'm doing is a vacation.
One of the Bucks said, I heard a lot of people in the back saying it was the best Blood and Guts ever.
Good for them. I'm sure for some it was a very, very good Blood and Guts. Apparently the report is false. Well, we'll see about that.
Who knows?
Who knows? Anyway, I'm done. You done? We're good?
I'm glad the Young Bucks just pulled back the curtain on all of this.
I'm sure enough people will have enough to say about that decision.
I'm not saying like keep kayfabe alive or anything, but when this whole thing started and they tried to kill Tony Khan, and now it's like we had a great match and we came up with all these ideas together, and the Acclaimed really stood out, and man, Darby Allin did some awesome stuff. I don't know.
What do you want me to tell you? This shouldn't be a shock to anybody. And now, of course, it's going to turn into people, saying, "Oh, they're going to break kayfabe." Blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, fine, good. They broke kayfabe. Good for them. It is what it is. Oh my goodness. Go watch whatever the interview.
They did say on the chair shot, Jack is fine. That's all that matters. We know the risk that we are taking in the ring, and it wouldn't have happened if he wasn't prepared for it. So there you go.
There you go. You want the hot take? There it is. And now you'll write the article.
Yeah, probably.
All right.
Nah, I'm out of here. Someone else has got to do stuff.
Good. Let him. All right. We're back on Monday. 10 a.m. Eastern.
Probably. Are you going to be here, Joel? Or are you going to run from the grind some more?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. We're going to see what happens come Monday. Jeremy, we're done.
Fine.
For Jeremy Lambert, I'm Matt Joel Pearl. JOELPEARL, ladies and gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good weekend. Cheers.